It's been a while since we did a carburetor video. We were doing them one after the other and people were starting to complain. But I got a good one today. And this, I think, is going to be especially useful for a lot of you guys that are relatively new to the carburetor thing, that haven't really run into all of the issues that come with these. There's a lot to be said for fuel injection and the fact that you're not handling a liquid fuel that sloshes around and does all sorts of stuff inside the metering device the way gasoline does inside a carburetor. And this actually has to do with something that I consider to be a factory defect, a defect by omission on just about every Holley carburetor out there, or more specifically the 4150 or double pumper style carburetor, which is the performance carburetor. If you're building something for drag racing, street racing, for acceleration, odds are you're going to have one of these on there. And that fuel slosh is one of the problems that you've got to contend with a carburetor. Like I said, big advantage that fuel injection has over carburetors. But it's nothing that can't be overcome. And the fix for this is as old as dirt. This is actually what I would consider to be forgotten carburetor knowledge. Because back in the day, everybody knew to do this. And today, I don't see it. But here's what happens. Here's the situation. You got your car together, you've got it tuned, you've made a few street blasts, minimal traction, but she's sharp. You lay into it and bam, she's right there. Revs to the moon, no issues, no nothing. You take it to the track. Maybe you put some sticky tires on it while you're at it. Now, you launch the car and she goes at about 10 feet and noses over. You don't know why, right? And then it comes back up and you're all right. It's a fuel supply problem, but it's not a fuel supply problem from the pump side of things or the inlet side of things. It's a fuel supply problem that happens inside the carburetor, inside the secondary float ball. And since I'm going through this 850 right now, getting it ready to go, I figure this is the perfect time to do this video. So here's what happens. Here's the front of the carburetor, here's the back of the carburetor. Now as you're accelerating forward, the gas in the carburetor is being pushed backwards. Now naturally, where the jets sit, here's primary metering block, and here's where the jets are on the primary metering block. The fuel is being pushed towards the jets. But now you take the secondary metering block, which is here, and what's happening? As you're accelerating, the fuel is being pushed away from the jets. Simple, right? Totally detrimental to your 60-foot times. And as you know, your 60-foot time is the most important increment in the whole trip. A tenth of a second on the 60-foot is 4/10 of half a second over the course of your quarter mile. So this is something that's common to all of these carburetors. All of them come out of the box just like this. So what's happening is you've got your float level set correctly, but there's still a lot of airspace above the float. So now as you accelerate, the fuel that's normally set, and you use your sight plug to set it, and the fuel would normally be set at the bottom of the sight plug. So you would take this out and set the float height until the fuel is just trickling out the bottom of this sight plug. With the float set using that sight plug, there's still a lot of space above and behind the float. Now when you accelerate forward and the gasoline wants to go back, it fills this space up here and temporarily uncovers the jets. It takes an instant, it takes a little bit of time for the fuel inlet, regardless of how heavy or how serious a pump you've got, it takes a bit of time for the fuel to refill that space. And during that period of time is when you've got your stumble. Because as the car is accelerating, that fuel never wants to come off the back of the float bowl. So the simple fix to this is what's called a jet extension. So here's where your jets screw into the metering block, and all the extension does is takes that place. Okay. So you screw your jet extension in, and then the jet goes right into the jet extension. Like so. Now, With the jet extended back like that, even though the fuel is heading back on acceleration, filling the back part of the bowl, the extension makes sure that the jet is still submerged in fuel and is able to pull. Why do I consider this to be a factory defect? It's like Holley should know, after being in the carburetor business for like thousands of years, they should know that people use these things in drag racing. And part of drag racing is accelerating off the starting line. So why they would ship these carburetors without jet extensions built into them, I don't know. But it's the most frustrating thing in the world. I've seen it time and time and time again. Guys just don't understand, why does this thing stumble? And they'll even, it's a lot of people say, well, it's a fuel delivery problem, so they'll put a bigger pump in it, they'll put bigger diameter fuel lines in it, they'll do all sorts of things to try to overcome this fuel delivery problem, when actually all it is the fuel standing off in the back of the float bowl and uncovering the jet. Why didn't Holley put these things in there? The only carburetors that I'm aware of that come with jet extensions in the secondaries are Dominators. But all of the 4150s, they don't have it. Now, one of the Band-Aid fixes for this, or a way to tell if perhaps this is what's going on with your car, is to raise the float level on the secondary side of the carburetor. So as we said, you've got the sight plug here, and if you take this out, the correct height for the float is going to be where the fuel is just barely trickling out the bottom. Now, this is important to know. The height of the sight plug here is such that when the car is sitting normally, fuel will not drip into the booster. So basically, the fuel is going to always be below the level of the booster. Once you raise it past the halfway point, you're actually at the level of the booster, and so it's liable to just drip fuel. You want to go just to that edge, which is just below. You can't even use this type of screw-in sight plug. You've got to use a clear sight plug, and then set the fuel level so that it's halfway up the sight plug. That'll generally calm the problem down if this is what's happening with your car, but it's only good for a drag car. And if you're doing it as an experiment on your car, before you hit the street again, lower the level back down again, because in normal driving, every time you step on the brakes and the fuel sloshes forward, it's going to drip into the boosters and give you a fat condition. So, like I said, it's good for drag racing. Set the float level so that it's halfway up the sight plug, but lower it for street driving. Either way, that's a Band-Aid. It's not the right way to fix it. The right way to fix it is to add jet extensions. So these things are cheap. They're dirt cheap. They're like $12 a pair. I think they have like a 4-pack. If you're doing like dual quads, they've got like a 4-pack for like $18. It's just a simple plug. Some guys make their own out of tubing. So you could just take a piece of steel or copper tubing and crimp it over the jets once it's in there. If you get the right size tubing, it'll just fit on there snug, and that'll do the job. But these things, you know that they're never going to vibrate off, the screw-in ones. So there's a part 2 to this also, and that's the power valve. So the power valve is subject to the same acceleration forces, or the fuel available to the power valve is susceptible to the same acceleration forces as the fuel to the jets. Only a little bit worse because it's higher up. So if you're setting your carburetor up for drag racing, for acceleration, that's its primary goal, get rid of the secondary power valve. You'll never miss it in daily normal driving. It doesn't do anything at all until you're into the secondaries. So get rid of the secondary power valve, put a blank in, just like this one. When you put the blank in, there's a difference. You're going to have to go up between 6 and 8 jet sizes. So let's just say you're running 72s with the power valve in there. You take the power valve out, you want to go to like 78s or 80s, and that'll give you the equivalent fuel flow. So if your tune is just right with 72s and a power valve, go to 78s, check it. If it's a little bit lean, go to 80s, 82s. It's going to be in that range. But generally speaking, it's 6 to 8 jet sizes up when you replace the power valve. Now, if you do those two things, the jet extensions, and you blank off the secondary power valve, you're eliminating like 95% of issues you'll have off the starting line at that 60 foot. Like I said, the 60 foot is everything. And even just a little fuel starvation that you may not feel and you think is, you know, the car's reacting normally, it may not be motoring the way it's supposed to. So even though you're not feeling a stumble per se, the car's not pulling as hard as it can. So I mean, you may be giving up a tenth or two on your 60 without even realizing it. But in most cases, it's pretty severe. I guess the telltale thing is without traction, you'll hit it and she just snaps. She revs like a chainsaw. But as soon as you hook this thing down and you stomp it, she stumbles. Right? That's what's happening. The fuel is standing off against the back of the carburetor. Now, vacuum secondary carburetors, ones without, any carburetor without a secondary metering block, you're subject to the same issues. So instead of having a metering block, you've got a jet plate that's screwed to the back of the body here. In that case, you can't add an extension to those. You're kind of stuck with it. So if you're running that style carburetor, then automatically, when you bring the car to the track and you set your tune up for the track, then you automatically want to raise that float level. But again, make sure you lower it back down again for street driving, because every time you step on the brakes, it's going to want to slosh fuel up through the secondary boosters. So that's it. Simple, old school carburetor stuff. This is one of the reasons why people find fuel injection so much simpler to work with, because it is more user friendly. It's like set it and forget it as far as the device itself goes. Where with a carburetor, there's a lot of tinkering and a lot of things like this that happen because fuel does slosh around. And but that's it. I hope you got something out of that, and I'll see you tomorrow.